Trevor from Trinidad by Dolores Lowe Friedman, illustrated by Anne Boyajian. Trevor from Trinidad. Until he was 10 years old, Trevor lived in Trinidad, an island in the West Indies. Trevor's mother died when he was 4. That same year, his father left Trinidad to find work in America, and Trevor went to live with his grandmother. His father called long distance, and Trevor sent him lots of letters. At first, his grandmother wrote the words, and Trevor drew pictures and signed his name. In every letter, Trevor said he couldn't wait until he could go live in the United States with his father. Finally, Trevor got the call he was waiting for. It was time to move to the United States. His father had a good job. He had married again, and Trevor had a new stepsister named Samantha. On his first day of school in his new country, Trevor wore blue jeans. Samantha had insisted on them. She said she would not walk with him to school unless he dressed normally. In Trinidad, everyone looked the same in their school uniforms. There, he didn't have to worry about standing out. Samantha, are you sure these clothes are all right? Trevor asked. He spoke with the accent of his homeland. I told you to call me Sam, she replied. Next time you call me Samantha, I won't answer. But, Trevor started, you look fine, she said. It's too bad you don't sound normal. What's not normal? Trevor asked. Never mind, Sam said, sucking her teeth. That's your class over there. Oh, poor you. Veronica Bowen and Tamika Wilson are in your class. Trevor stood behind the last boy in line. He pushed his glasses up on the bridge of his nose. He tried as hard as he could to blend into the background. The teacher had gray hair and a round, warm face. She looked at him kindly, and then she looked down at a piece of paper in her hand. And your name is? She looked up at him again. My name is Trevor Rainford, Mom, he answered. Did he say Mum? Whispered a girl to his right. You must be the young man from Trinidad, said the teacher. Nice to meet you, Trevor. I am Miss Ruskin. Trevor felt all eyes on him. The children whispered and pointed. His hopes of blending in were dashed. Miss Ruskin wrote her name on the board, and then she showed Trevor his seat. She asked all the children to introduce themselves to him. One by one, they called out their names. Trevor couldn't remember any of them. Then Miss Ruskin asked, Why don't you come up and tell everyone a little about yourself, Trevor? Trevor walked slowly to the front of the class. He remembered his teacher in Trinidad scolding him about speaking too softly and not standing straight. So he stood up as straight as he could, and in a strong voice he said, My name is Trevor Rainford. I come from Trinidad. That's an island in the West Indies. It is close to the equator, so it's very hot. I like to draw, read, and paint. Tamika giggled. He talks funny, she whispered loudly to Veronica. He's got an accent, said Veronica. Trevor heard them. Where I come from, he said, you are the ones who have an accent. Trevor has a good point, Miss Ruskin said. Now I'd like all of you to make Trevor feel welcome. Russell and Juan, I'd like you to show him around today. The two boys looked over to Trevor and waved. At noon, they ate lunch together, and then Juan asked Trevor if he wanted to play ball. Trevor nodded his head happily. I play football, he told them. In the spring, we play baseball, not football, said Juan. Oh, come on. Let's play football with him today, Russell said cheerfully. The three ran outside. The equipment teacher helped Russell dig out a football. Russell threw it to Trevor. Trevor just stared at the oddly shaped ball as it hit him in the chest. That's not a football, he said as the ball hit the ground. He watched it bounce this way and that. When they got back to the classroom, the boys told Miss Ruskin what had happened. She smiled and said, Of course. In Trinidad, the game we call soccer is known as football. Miss Ruskin looked thoughtful for a moment. Then she told the class, I have an idea. I'd like every one of you to do some research. Find out where your family lived before they came to the United States. Ask your parents and grandparents and anyone who can help. Try to learn about foods, games, songs, and dances, anything that made that place special. Next week, you can tell the class what you have learned. A few days later, Sam and Trevor were doing their homework when Sam blurted out, Veronica Bowen says you are stuck up. Trevor began to doodle on the blank sheet of paper next to his math homework. Miss Ruskin had said he was a good math student. He just needed to learn how they did long division in America. I don't think much of Veronica, he replied, and I don't care what she says. She spends more time talking and giggling than she does studying. In Trinidad, Miss Crownwood, Trinidad, Trinidad, that's all you think about, Sam said. I like thinking about Trinidad, Trevor answered quietly. I miss the beach and I miss my friends. If you were in Trinidad right now, what would you be doing? Asked Sam, her voice suddenly kinder. Right about now, Granny would be making costumes for Carnival, he remembered out loud. While his grandmother sewed, he used to sit on the porch doing sketches. The walls of his house were covered with his drawings and paintings. Many of the carnival dancers and musicians came in and out of the house, trying on their costumes and telling him how good his sketches were. Well, there's no carnival here, Sam snapped. Trevor didn't notice her impatience. He was caught up in happy memories of carnival season. Carnival was part of him, and he was proud of it. He loved the music, the dancing, and the celebration. Best of all, he loved being in the middle of it all. The next day in class, some children gave reports on the countries their families came from. Miko shared stories about Japan. Then it was Veronica's turn. Like Trevor, she had roots in the West Indies. Her grandfather was from Jamaica. She brought in tropical fruits for the class to taste. These are mangoes, and this is a coconut, she said. And this is, she looked blank, a papaya, Trevor offered. Veronica smiled at him and continued her report. He drew a mango tree and a papaya tree in his notebook. After reports for that day, Miss Ruskin had an idea. What if we turn everything we're learning into a play? She asked the class. We'd have to write a script and make costumes and scenery. Yes, the class shouted. Trevor's eyes sparkled with excitement. We'll wait until all the reports are done. Then we can begin to work on the show, said Miss Ruskin. Those of you who have not given your report should bring it in on Monday. That night, Sam started setting the dinner table with Trevor while Trevor doodled. Sam looked at his drawing. Whatever that is, would you please move it so I can set the table? She asked. It's a costume for carnival, Trevor explained. It's very nice. Now move it, Sam said. Trevor's stepmother Joyce laid a platter of curried chicken on the dinner table. It looked delicious, but Trevor had no appetite. Trevor, why aren't you eating? Asked his father. Joyce made this meal especially for you. She called Granny to get the recipes. I'm sorry, Trevor said, and then he blurted everything on his mind. I was just thinking about Trinidad. I have to do a report on it for school, and I don't know what to say. I mean, there's so much to say. How can I focus on one thing? Veronica did hers on Jamaica and she brought in tropical fruits. But I don't want to talk about food or games or stuff like that. I want to think of something that will really show the people of Trinidad are like. Then maybe everyone will understand me better too. Why don't you do a report on Carnival? Offered Sam. You can use your drawings and paintings to show what the costumes look like. And we have some great carnival music, Trevor's dad added. Trevor hadn't expected Sam to come up with such a good idea. She usually spent her time making fun of him, but carnival was the perfect topic. When he described it to his class, they would see how wonderful Trinidad is and all the reasons he missed living there. Over the weekend, Trevor wrote his report. He made colorful paintings of costumes. He sketched the steel drums the musician played. Then he chose one of his father's records to play. He called his report Carnival in Trinidad. Everyone listened closely to Trevor's report. Their eyes lit up as he showed them his drawings. When he finished, the children applauded. Veronica raised her hand and told Miss Ruskin Trevor should do the scenery for our play. Juan and Tamika nodded in agreement. Miss Ruskin smiled. Trevor, would you like to be our scenic designer? She asked. Yes, Trevor answered excitedly. On the way home from school, Sam asked, how'd it go today? Great. They asked me to design the scenery in the class play. I figured they would, Trevi, Sam said. When they got to the front door, Trevor said, Samantha, did you call me Trevi? I just heard Veronica call you that, said Sam with a smile. I think she likes you. Trevor said nothing. He might as well just accept his clever pain of a little sister. There had been nobody quite like her in Trinidad. Think about the selection. Why does Trevor have trouble when he moves to the United States? Why does Trevor's teacher have the class do research on their backgrounds? Compare Trevor's school in Trinidad and his new one. Compare and contrast, copy the chart, read the description, put a check where the description fits. Description: calls the teacher mom, wears jeans to school, calls soccer football, likes to be in the school play, shares things about other cultures. Trevor, friends at school. Thank you so much for listening along. Happy reading.